Hey everyone, it's baze.djunkiii transmitting from Hamburg, Germany. It's 4:24 a.m. in the morning. I woke up like 2 hours ago again because my biorhythm is kind of fucked up, you know the score. And yeah, I thought I could make a video for you, and it's one of these videos that I've been like thinking about for quite a few days, because there are these videos where you have to share opinions and stuff, and these might get you in trouble. And no, I'm not talking about the whole Marina Joyce situation, which is sending the whole YouTube world like bonkers, whoever Marina Joyce is. So I've just touched the surface on that and decided that I'm not interested in that whole topic and stuff, although I saw Philip DeFranco's video just to get a like brief overview on what is happening there, because everyone and their mothers and Twitter and like YouTube, I saw the name popping up all over the place, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? I don't know this girl. But anyway, not my topic for today. But things are happening in Germany throughout the past like 2 weeks right now, and I'm talking about like terrorist attacks, suicide bombers, shootings and stuff. We had this thing happening in Munich where this guy like who had like kind of mental problems and was like bullied all the time, and also had some connection to the Daesh Islamic State, some weird Muslim religious shit. Shot like a bunch of people in Munich. Then we had like Reutlingen, where we had like a kind of relationship drama thing where one guy, I think he killed his fiancée or girlfriend with a machete. Then we had Würzburg with one guy like axing down people in a regional train and like stabbing people as well, and that guy was shot, and he had also some mental problems as well, but also was, as far as I know, so status right now is July 30th, also involved or like in touch with people that were connected to the Islamic State thing. And that was the thing that touched me most, kind of, because I feel after like 9/11 back in the days, the world has been blowing up, and I've kind of gotten used to like seeing news like terrorist attacks here, bombings there, shootings there. So I don't know if these guys, like they're the terrorist guys, want to achieve that people get used to that. But I think I've mentioned that topic in another video back in the days. And yeah, then we had Ansbach. There was a guy, also one guy that wasn't from Germany. I guess he was seeking asylum like 2 years ago, and then he was rejected, was staying in Germany, and he also had some issues of some kind. And yeah, that guy like went the suicide bomber at the entrance of a music festival. Actually, I don't know what kind of festival it was. I know it was music, but I couldn't find any lineup on the internet for some reason, so I guess it wasn't like an electronic music festival or like hip-hop thing. But anyway, there was music involved, and music is my home, so I feel that I gotta share an opinion on this whole thing. And what happened is that guy, well, had a backpack with a kind of bomb, I don't know, and some like sharpened metal debris in the backpack, and he was trying to enter the festival site and he was rejected. So then he was on the phone, maybe prior to that, as far as we know right now and as far as media reported, and he was in touch with someone not in Germany, so maybe there's some like guide or something like that for suicide bombers or whatever, or leaders of a terrorist group. We don't know that exactly. But then he decided to blow himself up right at the entrance of the festival site. So that guy was killed. A bunch of people, like 9 or 12, were injured kind of heavily, as far as I know. And well, I thought I could like share my opinion on that, because well, music is my scene, and there are quite a few questions I have. And the first one, the main question we all have, that guy came to Germany as a refugee, obviously. Yeah, what shall we do? Because our chancellor opened the borders, and well, that guy came before that whole Syria thing happened, but still the main question is, well, is that guy, or has this guy come to Germany to really seek asylum, or like to blow himself up in some way? We don't know. And well, I don't feel like we should reject all refugees, because that's bullshit. And for sure there is people that need our help and that should be helped, but still we have criteria, and our like authorities need to check if the people meet that criteria. And obviously for that specific guy who blew himself up in Ansbach, it is like he didn't meet the criteria of like being granted asylum here. And so the second question I have, and I guess many people have, is like, why was this guy still living in Germany and living off money that was given to him as kind of welfare? Because that's one thing I think that makes many people angry right now, and that's one of the things that cause people like voting for right-wing parties that want to get all non-Germans out of Germany. To cut it short, is like that people are coming here and seeking for asylum, which is their right, and if they are like from countries or that are at war, or if they have like trouble in their home country for being like gay or like a minority in terms of like their religion or whatever, or in terms of their ethnicity, and those people should be granted asylum for sure. But there are these other guys that come to Germany and they are like not meeting the criteria, and I don't see why we are not like, well, deporting is a hard word for that, but I don't know the better expression in English. So what I mean is, okay, if they go through the whole process of like seeking asylum, and they are like checked and the background is checked and stuff, and people decide, no, you're not granted asylum for political reasons and not for being a part of a minority of any kind that has trouble in your home country, why we're not sending these people back in a like short amount of time. Because like that guy was rejected 1 year ago, and he's been getting money and he's been able to stay here and stuff, and like he's not able to work because refugees aren't allowed to work for a certain amount of time, which is stupid as far as I see that, but this is how our laws are right now regarding this topic. So I don't see why it takes like 1 year to send someone who is definitely not being granted asylum back to their country where they come from. And this is not a thing that I say because I have something against like refugees, but it's more like a logical point of view. I think it's more like a thought process, because a lot of people are like, okay, those guys come here, they're not granted asylum, and still they get money, and this causes like illogical political decisions when it comes to elections and votings and stuff. So I'd say if someone is like not granted asylum, send him back within like 6 weeks. Must be possible. And a lot of countries where these refugees or these people seeking asylum come from are not cooperative, and I think we should cut down our like financial support for them just to make them like more cooperative and like working with us on this topic, because this causes trouble in Germany. And another question is, was this guy really a terrorist or not? We don't know yet. We know that he's like had some, as I mentioned, some mental problems and stuff, and we also know that he's been like in touch with someone who is or might be associated with the Daesh, with the so-called Islamic State that causes trouble in the Arab region, and he also had some documents on his computer, I guess, that are like clues and leads to that he had a kind of religious motivation to do that. So we don't know exactly what is happening or what has been causing this, but federal state police and stuff are investigating on that, so I'm pretty curious. One other question that might pop up is will nightlife ever be safe again, or like will music festivals ever be safe again, because there are like easy targets and clubs are easy targets. We have seen like the Bataclan thing happening in France, and well, I'd say no, and they have never been safe, because they are like places where people go for joy, and there's like 100, 200, 300, 8,000 people in one spot, and there are targets that are easy to hit, definitely. But, and that is the main point, they never have been safe. And I know that for some reasons, and the main reason is I've been setting up events myself, and I've been like involved in nightlife for like about 20 years right now, and I've seen things happening. I guess I'd share some of these things I've seen, which had nothing to do with terrorism and had nothing to do with excuse me, with kind of religion or with other things. It's just stupid people doing stupid things, and people that want to cause trouble, they will. I could recall like 4 incidents immediately, which I've seen, I've been, well, not involved in, but I've like witnessed, or I've been like the promoter, or I've been working at the club. And one has been happening like only recently, which doesn't mean like, I don't know, 8 or 9 months ago, when I started to work at a certain club in Hamburg, and we had a dancehall party going on, like a lot of Jamaican yardies and stuff, and there were 2 guys, obviously, that what we learned after the incident happened, and they've been like kind of loosely connected to the promoter crew and stuff, and like 2 Jamaican guys, I guess, or like German, Jamaican, whatever kind of heritage, and so they had like some trouble, and like were kind of in a fight before they came to the party, and this tension like carried on, and one guy like pulled a knife right in front of the club, like after the party was going on for a few hours, and like stabbed the guy in a way that like he like really opened his belly, and some parts of his guts fell to the pavement, and yeah, that guy died in the hospital in the night later. And yeah, that's one incident that has been happening recently, which had nothing to do with any religion, with any ethnicity, and with any terrorist kind of motivation, but this is things that are happening when you're like in the nightlife business, and like when you're in the red light district and stuff. So this is one thing. One other thing happened at the Mojo Club in Hamburg, which I just witnessed by being there. I had worked there, and my shift was over, and I saw one guy, like I was talking with a guy, and one guy was standing kind of next to us, and one other guy came and like with a empty beer bottle in his hand, and just hit him on the back of his head, like just boom. And that guy was like, what? And like walked a few steps just to catch his attacker. And then just we saw that he had like blood coming out of his head and stuff, and then he went down to the ground within like a fraction of a second. It was like he was walking, and his foot like didn't touch the ground, and he was like going down within nothing. And this also was a fight that happened in nightlife business, and no matter how strict you check the people, or how strictly you check the people at the entrance of a club, like a bottle, like a glass thing, is a weapon, or can be used as a weapon. And I don't know what came out of this situation, because well, I left the club at around the same time, so I don't know, but that guy must definitely have had some serious injuries, because he went down pretty quickly. So that's another thing that happens in nightlife. And we had, when we were setting up drum and bass parties, this is 2 stories related to the same party thing we were setting up back in the days, like in 2001 or 2. At one point we had like problems with graffiti sprayers in the club, so we had like white spaces in the club on the wall where we had like our projection and lighting going on. And one guy, the party was named 3D, which is 3D back in the days, and one sprayer actually named himself after our party. So we saw his tags in the club everywhere, and then he started to spray with a can, like with a spray can on our projection, white projection thing on the wall and stuff. And we were like telling him that he couldn't come back and stuff. So we knew the guy, and he wasn't allowed to enter the club, and he tried every time again. And at some point I had some big metal stick at the door because I was working. Well, I was a promoter, but I was also kind of at the door, like getting the people's money and stuff. And we had some big metal thing in the area where our money was, like at the cash point, kind of. And at one point, I just pulled out that thing, and I was like, "Well, if you're not fucking off, I'm gonna like hit that thing on your head, and I'm gonna throw you in the River Elbe and let you drown, just because you're like not allowed to come here. You cause trouble all the time." And that was like I was pretty much threatening him, like with like hitting him and like injuring him hard just to get him like off the club and stuff. And we had the police there all the time, and his crew was also there, and they were pretty aggressive. And at one point, one guy like was doing a tag on the front of the club, so not inside, but on the wall outside. And I was catching him, and he pulled also a knife, like a cutter knife. And he was like, "Okay, either I'm gonna do my tag and finish my tag, or I'm gonna do a tag with my knife on your like forehead and stuff." So that was a pretty sketchy thing back in the days, and that was one of the reasons. I wasn't afraid of those guys, because, well, if they want to fight, they're gonna get a fight for sure. But I was making good money out of these parties, but still, it was too annoying and stuff. And the money we made, it was like $1 or $2 grand per night, didn't pay me off for the stress that we had with those people. So I kind of quit promoting drum and bass parties in this specific location after a while, because it was getting on my nerves and stuff, and no money can pay me for that. But those guys were pretty sketchy. And the last story it sounds fun, but it wasn't fun, because the club had to clean up all the electronics and stuff. So one guy was sitting in the backstage for some reason. I don't know who this guy was exactly, and we had a party with I guess Panacea and DJ Scott, like both like very heavy, hard drum and bass DJs and stuff. And that guy was pretty drunk or on drugs or whatever, and he took like a fire extinguisher from the backstage for some reason ever, and he like opened that fire extinguisher right in the middle of the dance floor. And it was not that foam that was coming out, but more like a dust thing, so very, very fine dust particles that kind of like put the fire out. No matter how they're gonna do that, I don't know how the process works exactly, but he thought it was a good idea to open that fire extinguisher right in the middle of the dance floor when the party was at its like very peak, with like 300, 400 people on the dance floor in a small club. And the club was really packed. And like then I was standing at the bar, which was like in the room next to the dance floor, and all I could see, like within 1 second, the whole room was like filled with kind of smoke and this dusty thing. And I was like, "What the fuck is happening? Do we have a fire and stuff? And will people panic?" So I grabbed a kind of cloth from the bar and like put it into water and just put it in front of my mouth and my nose, just so not wanting like to inhale the whatever it was at the time. I thought it was like smoke. It wasn't. It was these fine particles from the fire extinguisher. I entered the room, and like we evacuated. People were like panicking, not really, but they were like, well, something. It was like a tense, sketchy situation. So the room emptied within seconds and stuff, and we tried to evacuate people as as fast as we could, and then someone had called the police and the fire department, and they came with a camera team, like reality TV camera team, and we didn't know what happened, and so they entered the club with a camera, and I was like, the first thing you see, and they recorded, is like me with a hoodie, like pulled into my face to protect me, and with then this wet glove, and I was like, no cameras, get the fuck out. So that's the first scene you see in that recording. I haven't seen that myself, but apparently, as people were telling me years after that they had seen me on TV on that kind of reality show, they had made up a story around this, that there was a fire in a illegal venue in Hamburg. So this is just a side note, but it's like pretty weird. And yeah, that guy also was a drunkard, definitely, and he was like maybe on some drugs, and he just thought it was a funny idea to like release a fire extinguisher into a crowd. And this is definitely not a terrorist attack or something like that, but these are things that can happen in nightlife as well, all the time, and I've seen those things quite a few times, as you heard right now. So nightlife will never be, no matter how strict the security checks are, nightlife will not be a safe place to. It is a place to release yourself, definitely, and let go, but there's not any chance that there is like a 100% safety granted and in a club or in a festival or whatever. So things will happen all the time, and I think people should not be afraid of, like, although we have these like religious fanatics and like weirdos attacking what I see as like an achievement of Western culture, or the nightlife thing, attacking all the time and like doing weird things. Well, you can also get hit by a car like without knowing or without being prepared. So people should not be worried too much and not be frightened, and just get used to things. And well, things are not safe anymore, but they have never been. So well, even if you're like living in a big city like I do, and you work in the red light district or in some amusement district, or you live in a neighborhood which is not that proper and gentrified, and there is always a chance that there's some lunatic on the next corner and like trying to rob you, trying to shoot you, trying to stab you. If you can't handle this, just like move to the countryside, I'd say, and like lead a life with a safe job somewhere and in an area where there's no people, or not that much people, and there are lunatics everywhere, and they have been. So don't be worried about terrorists. So statistically the chance is pretty low that you get hit, and if it happens, it happens. And I'd say if it happens to me and I see like while thinking about that ex guy in that train, is like, if those guys are about to like attack a situation in which I'm in, they should be better prepared for trouble. So that's a thing. Just if it happens, just be ready to fight and like be ready to get them down, and well, if necessary, like to do whatever is necessary to stop them. So this is the thing I want to like conclude my video with, I guess. And now it's like nearly 5 and I've been rambling too much, so I'm gonna go into editing maybe right now and upload this video later, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.